Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Week 8 Recap Show. He's James Moynihan. I'm Ross Birdie. We've got to start off with another tie, as Kim Kardashian's lack of Bush puts up 115 points, and Kindergarten Cop also puts up 115 points.
Yeah, unbelievable, as Snoots gets a goose egg from Dexter McCluster on Monday night. Now, maybe now Snoots will think about hitting the waiver wire a little bit earlier on in the week, as he waited till about Thursday to throw McCluster into the lineup, and he gets nothing from him. Disappointing for Andy, as he is now tied twice, both weeks in which if he had played anybody else in the league, he would have won.
Yeah, crazy that the top 2 point scorers actually tied each other, and we'll actually hear from Andy later in the show about what he thinks about all these ties.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that segment.
Me too. Fat Albert's Fan Club, 46. Hainsworth Jiggly Tits, 84. Johnny actually puts up a stinker here as BMAC gets 29 points from the Lions D and hands John his third straight loss.
Yeah, tough run here for John with 3 straight losses, and he actually puts up only 46 points, which ties for the lowest single game output in the season. Ties your Bergie-licious squad. Yeah, absolutely. BMAC has quietly gotten himself 3 wins now, despite losing Jamal Charles early on in the season.
All right, next up we have Grimsby Bears, 62. Honolulu Flying Hawaiians, 85. Grim only got 5 points from his 3 running backs, and Rag wins his 6th straight game here.
Yeah, Rag hits the luck of the Irish once again with the schedule. He does put up 85 points, but he hasn't had much competition over the last few weeks. He now has Hardesty out, who he was trying to ship around for, I believe, Calvin Johnson last week. So,
yeah, exactly. Next up, we have Corporate Fat Cats, 86. Too Big to Fail, 65. McCoy puts up 31 points against Dallas defense. Jake has now lost his 3rd straight game.
Yeah, Jed hands Jake that 3rd straight loss behind, like you said, McCoy. 2 goose eggs for Jake as he gets Ben Jarvis Green Ellis to have 0 points. And he's starting Devery Henderson, which makes no sense to anyone. Surprise, surprise, he put up 0 points as well.
And Tebow had a terrible game, so we'll see what Jed does there.
Absolutely.
A-Town Rat Tails, 81. Fighting Frog Swamp, 65. Brendan's 3 receivers put up 5 points here. Chris Johnson, who you said was going to have a big week this week, he did not, but Steven Jackson picks you up and has a big week.
Yeah, still holding out on Chris Johnson. A solid performance despite not getting much from Johnson and having Rodgers on the bye. Steven Jackson, quite frankly, looked better in this game than he did in ESPN The Magazine's version of the body issue.
And he looked pretty good.
He looked amazing in that. So very impressive. Brendo actually drops Joe Flacco this week after, 4 straight weeks of very subpar performances from Flacco.
Not good at all. Next up, we have Thompson Takeover, 94. Burgalicious, 72. JK wins his 2nd straight game here as the Bills D puts up 25 points.
Yeah, big week for the Bills D, and Fred Jackson continues to tear up the fantasy landscape with 19 points. JK still remains within shouting distance here of that 1st place title within his division.
Yep, and he pointed out to me that he's the 3rd highest point scorer this year as well.
And a lot of tough luck for JK.
Rex Ryan's Pedophile, 64. Doug lied about his vasectomy, 63. A very low-scoring affair here that came down to Monday night as Albert pulls out a 1-point victory and hands Chooch his 2nd straight loss.
Yeah, Albert defies the laws of gravity this week as his leading scorer only puts up 10 points, and one of those people that put up the 10 points is Andy Dalton, for God's sakes. Somehow he keeps on winning. It's just terrible this week. Terrible.
All right, let's look at next week. Week 9 matchups. We have Ross, 2-6 versus Chooch, 4-4. I actually now have 3 Patriots in my starting lineup, and he has Tom Brady, so every time Brady throws a ball, I'll probably be cheering for him.
Yeah, that's a good thing. These are rooting for the hometown team.
Exactly.
Peyton Hillis could be out again, and Michael Turner faces a Colts defense that's been miserable this year, so I got to go with Chooch in this one.
I take Chooch as well. Jamie, 4-4, JK, 3-5. I think it should be a close match. I give the slight edge to JK here, though.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close match as well. JK's got MJD on his bye, and he faces both Aaron Rodgers and Anquan Bolden, who he traded away from his squad. Yep. I think they're out for blood this week, and I think they find it. Yep. I win this one.
We'll see how that trade works out. Brendan, 5-3, Jed, 3-5. Rivers is actually put back into his lineup this week, and Brendan is battling injuries on his squad.
Yeah, I mean, Brendan has a lot of injury issues, and he also has Marshawn Lynch on his team, which is god-awful. Rivers, I think, has a big day going to Green Bay. He comes back from a tough week last week. I like Jed in this one.
I like Jed as well. Jake, 3-5. Rag, 6-2. Matthew Stafford is on a bye for Jake. Jake actually has his 3 stud receivers back in the lineup. That's pretty much all he has.
Yeah.
But and then also Rag is Hardesty out this week, so I'm actually going to take Rag in this one.
You're going to take Rag?
Yep.
Oh, okay. It sounds like you might go with Jake there.
Nope.
The schedule gods have helped Rag out once again as he faces Jake's team, who has been terrible over the last 3 weeks. I think the only way that Jake wins this one is if Andre Johnson not only plays but has a big, big game. I actually like Rag for 7 straight, unfortunately, in my division.
Yep. All right, Grim, we have at 4-4 and Snoots at 4-3-1. Grim this week traded for Hakeem Nicks and Daniel Thomas, took him from my squad. And then Snoots actually is putting Matthew Shaw, what's his name? Shaw. Whatever the fuck his first name is, I can't think of it. Back in the lineup for Snoots, and Bush is playing as McFadden's injured.
Yeah, a couple of trades this week for Grim, which helped to solidify his running back position. I actually almost picked him for the upset, but he's got Big Ben going as his quarterback against the Baltimore defense that I think will just be a little bit too much to overcome.
And it's matchup, it's not.
Yeah, I know.
Albert 5-2-1, John 4-4. John's running backs are injured, McFadden and Tolbert. And Albert also has an injured running back, Ryan Matthews, so we'll see how they cope with those injuries. I still like Albert in this one.
Yeah, Al's been shopping Ryan Matthews all week. If he goes Sunday, I like Al, but it looks unlikely at this point. It looks like it'll be Tolbert, who just happens to be on John's team. If Tolbert goes, which it looks like he will, I'm going with John.
And I have the third string in case neither one of them can go. All right, we got BMAC 3-5, Andy 4-2-2. Calvin Johnson is on a bye for Andy this week, so I'm actually going to take BMAC in this one.
Yeah, tough week for Andy after getting hit with the tie on Monday night. He now loses both AP and Calvin Johnson to byes. I think BMAC wins this one too. I think he moves on 3 straight and his 4th win overall.
And that actually makes this game our
marquee matchup this week. We got to get Andy on the horn.
That's your phone.
Which is right here. Let's get Andy on the phone. See what he's got to say about his squad.
We got to hear all about the ties too. What his position is on that.
Oh yeah, lots of ties. What do you think about scooching this ball?
Sure. Close up here. It's nice and cozy.
Hello?
Andy!
James.
You are on the weekly recap show. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just looking at some recently published wedding pictures of mine.
Oh, God.
Wow.
That sounds
How do they look?
They look fantastic.
Excellent, excellent.
Good to hear.
Andy, we got a couple things to talk to you about this week. Obviously, you've now been hit with 2 ties this season. Really unheard of in our league. Historically, that has never happened. And you still have yet to face Al for a second time, which could bring back another tie.
Definitely.
What are you thinking going into this week, having struggled with all these ties?
Well, I think I stirred up a little bit of controversy through a rant, I suppose, on my email. And, I guess it just provides additional motivation for me to do well with the comments, from my opponent this week, where you could just stop bitching like a little girl. You're in second place.
Yes, that is true.
Really make me, want to beat that asshole. So,
Yep, direct.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I do have some advantages looking at the matchup. My kicker, Billy Cundiff, is going to beat his non-existent kicker. And so
yeah, that'll
that's
be
really
pretty
the only positive going for me right now in this matchup, though. 'Cause looking at the preview, he's got all the advantages.
Yeah, I saw Calvin Johnson is out on a bye this week. Who are you putting into the lineup this week in his place?
I'm going to try John Baldwin.
Okay.
Rookie sensation.
Rookie sensation.
After a big week last week, touchdown on Monday night, going with Johnny Baldwin.
Yes, and I'm really kind of looking at the matchups, maybe doing a late decision pick up on someone, but I got to keep my opponent on his toes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Are you looking at all to make some moves while you're on a bye, possibly a late week trade? Is that possibly in the works?
I have been getting offers from many individuals. However, if I hear Rag try to rationalize another trade to me, one player is going to somehow redefine my team, It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, Jamie and I were talking about that last week. If you're trying to actually convince somebody to do a trade, it's probably not a very good trade
Yeah,
offer.
I don't think it's going to happen. Alan, you might want to take notes.
And particularly for my best player, too.
Right.
Sure, absolutely.
Do you have a prediction for the score, whether you'll win or not this week?
Well, I know BMAC will pee himself in the middle of the
He probably will end up peeing himself. Either way.
Either way, it's going to happen. I don't know when, but, it might happen Saturday night or, Sunday night. Who knows?
We'll see.
But, I maybe, I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to give another tie this week.
Oh, wow!
The first ever predicted tie.
You're predicting your third tie of the season. All right.
Unbelievable. Well, it's been a very even season for you so far this year. You still lead the way in points.
I'm still accumulating points.
Absolutely.
Hey, real quick, are you in favor of the partial points that has been thrown out there in the message boards this week?
Of course I am. I'm the only asshole that's ever had 3 ties.
This is true.
Fair enough. Well, Andy, we wish you the best of luck against BMAC, and we're happy that you're able to come on the show, and hopefully you can share some of those wedding pictures.
Yeah, send them along. Send them along, Andy.
Hey, ReaderImages.com. Free advertising right there.
Oh, very nice.
Okay, all right, I'll go there right now.
Well, good night, everyone. Godspeed to everyone.
Later.
All of you. God.